The black man and woman in America has 1.6 trillion buying power. However, we are learning the US dollar is on the decline. What are we going to do with it? Are we going to invest back into our communities in America? Or are you going to take that buying power and invest on the continent of Africa? Stay tuned. We'd like to share some information with you. Meanwhile, don't forget to subscribe. Please subscribe, like, share, and comment.
Black people in America, our condition worsens as America's condition worsens. And if America goes down because of a global nature of economics and the value of the dollar as the currency of favor, when that dollar goes, the whole world that has been dependent on trade and commerce with America will go down as well.
Greetings, greetings, peace and blessings. We are the Mohammeds, the residential tourist, 85 to Africa. We are living in the after, and thank you so very much for tuning in. We appreciate very sincerely your viewership. And as you know, without me saying, that the content that we bring, the content that we are trying to bring and provide is for anybody to enjoy, for anyone to be able to hopefully learn something, I don't know, and have some type of fulfillment to maybe live vicariously through us. Whatever the case may be, it's for the enjoyment for any and every one. As you know, we try to bring to you something of our personal experience, right? As we are currently now here in Africa. And additionally, with that, even though it's of our personal experience, we black people, right? So it goes beyond even us as individuals. It even goes into us being just that. We're being black in Africa, being black from America, and how our experience is shaping us, or how our experience is defining and helping us to evolve, right? So we came here because we wanted to exploit the idea of the ability to exploit any and everything that not only a continent has to offer, but the whole globe. So we chose Africa. We chose Africa because it would afford us the opportunity to be able to reconnect, right? This is home. This is where we originate. This is where we come from, right? However, I have to say, or we have to say, that a lot of that has, in our decision making in coming to Africa, had to do with what we were experiencing in America. So one part of it was more personal, right? Whereas the other, and probably more significantly, had a lot to do with how our experience in America was affecting us as black people, right? So now that brings us to what it is that we want to discuss and talk about and share, because you know, I mean, the turn of events, the things that are taking place on a global level as it relates to that mighty dollar, right? How is that affecting the black community? And how is that, I'll put it like this, and my wife's going to chime in, right? She's going to chime in and we're just going to have this discussion and we're just putting this out there. We want to hear from you. We want to hear what your thoughts are with this information and this turn of events, and what it is that you think is happening, or going to happen, or whatever the case may be. But here it is. Most of us already know this saying for black people: last hired, first fired, right? And with that understanding as it relates to the dollar, we understand the disparities, the economic disparities that exist in America as it relates to black people and our counterpart. And unfortunately, comparatively, we don't register. And so you have to think about and consider the fact, if the dollar declines, who will be affected more greatly? Who will be most affected if that dollar does decline? Because most of us, unfortunately, we're paycheck to paycheck, right? So we want to talk about that, man. We want to not just talk about it, because we want to stem this in our experience personally as individuals, but there's so many other diasporas who are here, right? And there are so many diasporas who are wanting to come. But this changes things. This changes the dynamic. Now you have to think in terms of, okay, with my black dollar, what do I do with it? Do I take that black dollar, or do collectively as black people take that black dollar and invest into our communities in America? Or do we take that black dollar and we look towards the east and come to Africa and continue with our thought and idea of investing here in Africa? All right, here we go.
Well, I think with the fall of the dollar, yes, it will affect Black America significantly. However, I believe we've been through worse.
Mm,
Um, I think the ones that will be affected by it, it's been long, long time coming. And so the fear isn't necessarily how will Black America survive? How will we survive? Because we've been surviving. We've been surviving when we weren't given opportunities. We were been surviving when the food shortages, surviving lack of employment, worse living conditions. We came there not by our own free will. So we had nothing there to begin with, but we survived. So the falling of the US dollar for us is it's almost a spiritual falling,
mm,
because we survived off of the little crumbs that we were given, that we were able to make and try to survive with. For us, the fall of the US dollar is like many of you have said, has been prophesied. We're not gonna go all into that, but I really truly believe that this affects those that control the dollars more than those that are trying to get some of it.
mm. That's interesting, because it's like, I mean, that makes sense, and you're right. I mean, we've had this resilience, and we have this resilience as a people, that when having been and continue to be confronted with different challenges that we meet and we overcome, right? And so, yeah, I agree with that. I guess then now, so what do we do? Like, so we here, we on the continent, we in Africa, right? But the thing is this: we've said it. We still, we still, that dollar, we still, we utilize that dollar, right? And we have a certain level of reliance, just keeping it real, on that dollar, right? So the economies are different, right? And so we're we're not in fear, but we're in question. We're just just trying to stay in stride with things. So what would that mean? Just say,
See,
okay,
but the U.S. is so greedy. It's not a country where what they do is for the people. It's a country that what they do is to get more and more and more and more and more money. It has little resources, so it's always about how to get everybody else's resources. So with the falling of the dollar, I think it's not necessarily affects your pocket in a way that where a lot of people think, because America, the value of the dollar would drop, but housing costs will go up. The dollar would drop, even though there's food shortages. Now the cost of food is going to go up, and you be like, well, we grow the food here, not too much. America is an importing country. Pretty much everything that it has gotten from other countries. Anything you flip over in America is going to say made in China, made in Taiwan, usually Asia somewhere. Some country in Asia is where America gets their everything from. So now that the value of what they're spending to buy these products coming over is going to change, everything is going to have a high cost value to it. So when ordinary people can't get basic necessities in life, what do you think's going to happen
well, that's the question.
in the streets? And not just black people, people in general, crime rates are going to go up because now people are on survival mode all day long. We got to get food. You can't starve our people, especially our people. We're going to find a way.
We
We're
go
going to find a way.
we gonna get that food.
Man, you trying to figure out how soul food came about? We had to find a way to take the scraps and make it into something so we can eat it.
So so um,
Go ahead.
I mean, yeah, with that. Now, here we go. $1.6 trillion uh, buying power, right?
For black
For
Americans.
Black America, Black people. 1.6 trillion. It could have, give or take, could have changed, right? So for the longest time, you know, there had always been this, man, our consumership far outweighs our manufacturing, our production and producing, right? So so this is how I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it that everybody's not coming to Africa. Everybody's not going to leave
Africa's
America.
not for everybody.
So for those who are not, as we talk, survival has to be, you have to survive. We've been trying to survive. We're still trying to survive. So I think then now, right? Now we're talking in terms of investing, which is something that we have been putting forth before us, from us, for so many years, for so long, to invest back into where we live, our communities. So we have to now think more so now, in terms of that 1.6 trillion consumership or buying power. Listen, we got to let go of some stuff. We have to now really begin to use that power to what allow us to continue to thrive and to survive in a way that it won't be too damaging. And this is mere speculation because we can't see so far into the future, but this is something to definitely take into deep, serious, immediate consideration, right? So you have those who are here now on the continent, here in Africa, and of course we being one of them. And being here, we are privy to have dialogue and meet individuals who have come and those who are looking to come. And the, how would I say, the the
Diaspora.
the topic,
Oh,
I'll put it that way. That's not the right word. Lack of a better word for many is that they want to invest. I want to invest in Africa. I want to invest in Africa, right? Which is a good thing because Africa is definitely looking for investment. Now,
and it's worthy of
it's
investment.
worthy of it for sure, And so now, what do you do with that, with the black dollar, right? The black dollar. Do you continue on okay, I'm gonna take the dollar's falling. Let me take my dollar and let me go over here to Africa or wherever, but come over here and let me invest in the continent here.
You know, a lot of people are doing that. They're understanding, they're seeing. I don't completely understand what's happening with the banks right now,
Right.
but a lot of people are concerned. They want to take their money out of the American banking system. So if you're doing that, what do you do with it? Are you going to put it into another country's banking system so that you will have your money secured by their banking infrastructure and their insurances? That makes sense, of course. Most times you have to go there to do it. But other people are saying, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my money out of the bank. It's not really making no interest there anyway. And buy and invest in another country, whether it's land, housing, businesses, and let it sit that way because you know it's going to appreciate. Does that make sense for us right now while our dollars are falling? If we do it now, by the value at the value, by we getting value for the dollar, and then letting it work itself, that makes sense. But how does that doesn't help you in your immediate situation in
Right.
the U.S.
That's the dilemma, I guess you can say, because so here's how I'm seeing and I'm looking at it is that, you know, if we maintain a level of a certain type of relationship, right? And maintain that relationship of as we are, coming here, many of us here, we're trying to reconnect. Now that has to go even deeper. Our desire and our efforts of trying to reconnect has to go deeper, right? Because even though we're here, listen, it don't change how concerned we are and the love that we have for those of us of our loved ones
Yeah.
and those who we don't even know, that are still remaining in America, right? So, what is the solution? How is it possible, to be able to do just that? To be able to say, hey, you know what? I'm going ahead of you. I'm going to take my dollars, go ahead of you. I'm going to establish, I'm going to invest. It's going to benefit me, hopefully, personally,
Long term.
long term, but with hopes that it will also create a bridge, if you will, that will keep me connected, for those of us who are remaining, because man, we need an out, man. We do. I mean, we need an out. I just keep it real. It's like, come on, man. We've been in the struggle from the very moment that we step foot on the soil, right? Man, come on. We can't go out like this.
No,
We gotta go out like this. I
I
mean,
don't. I don't think. We're not the people that when it hits your pocket, we're gonna jump off the bridge. We're gonna go in with the guns and blow up the post offices and all. We're
that's
not.
not
That's
us.
not us. So mentally, some people can't handle it. Some people can't handle having $5 in the bank account. For some of us, we good. That means we ain't broke.
Some of us know that's the order of the
Yeah, the $5, hey, that's what it is. Other people will have $5 in the bank account and they really want to just end their life. Their life is connected to the value of how much they got in the bank account,
day.
how much spending power they have, how much they can floss and show off. But the survival mechanism of this whole thing is it's not just a financial survival. It's definitely ordained, man. It's definitely a spiritual connection to this. And so for Black Americans, I think they can weigh their options and maybe be successful either way they choose. I think for not just Black Americans, but the diaspora in general, because we've been forced to become diasporans, right? But no matter where you are in the country, you've had to survive the worst of the worst. You had to survive way more than an economic crisis. And this isn't the first time that this has happened, and we're still here. We're still surviving. And I really think that we just have to figure out what is going to be best for our future of our with our families, um, and even greater with our communities. How will we survive? Are we going to pull our resources together and build a community and sustain one another, even if that means we go to bartering? You know, how would that work for us? If this person has acres and acres of farmland, and this person over here is making clothes, and this person over there, maybe they're cooks or whatever, if we figure out how to sustain our communities at this time, we will be successful. While the rest of the world, or the rest of those that rely solely on the US dollar for their survival, they will be trying to figure out how to. I don't want to say I don't know,
Well, I
but I
mean,
know from history and I know from looking at the past, they can't handle it. They
so
can't handle it.
so we have to then. I mean, that's very good, sweetie. I mean, because yeah, I mean, it's definitely, going to have. It's definitely going to put us in a certain, functioning mode, right? Sometimes, because this is a long time coming as far as now beginning to pool our resources, right? Now to begin to really redirect our dollars where it becomes more beneficial for us, right? As all other groups and communities do. But so now here we are. So we're, there's a position that we're in that we'll have to be forced to do it. But nonetheless, it will get done, hopefully, right? And so it's just high time now, really to be able to have these dialogues and really reorientate our minds as to, okay, what we're going to do, how we're going to do it. And so this is where we are.
Yeah, I remember, I think it's 2009
Mm-hmm.
when everything kind of crashed before again.
Between 7 and 9,
2007, yeah,
yeah.
it was trying to get back up. 2007 and 8, I was working in a whole nother county, and gas was like $5 and some change per gallon. And that was so major that it was like either you move closer to where the job was or you lose your job because you couldn't afford to get there. Half your paycheck was going on the cost of gasoline.
Mm-hmm.
This is something even way more severe than that. If we no longer have Saudi Arabia's gas on US
Oil.
dollars, oil on US dollars, how does that affect the cost of oil and petrol in the states if that happens? I don't before I think it was a shortage or I don't whatever the case was.
This is complete.
This
Like,
is
this is like,
completely.
look,
We don't need your dollars no more. We're going to cost. We're going to charge. Blah blah blah, and it's going to affect you guys. The rest of the world is going to be okay. So that's something to consider. Okay, well, what if you can't afford to get to work because now your whole paycheck is going on gasoline just to get you there?
mm,
Because that's what it was happening in 2007, 8, and 9. The whole paycheck was going to the cost of petrol. So your choice was, let me move there. Let me move to where I work at in that area. Regardless of that, now in that area, housing was more expensive. Cost of living was more expensive.
so you're getting it from
Both ends.
all ends,
Yeah.
you're getting it from all ends. So, a lot of countries, man, they're pulling away. They're pulling away from the US dollar being the dominant currency, and their purchasing power, with these essentials like oil are now going to be in their own individual concurrency. You think about Kenya, man. Kenya, they're like, listen, it's already there. They already like, listen, we're gonna buy our oil with our own currency, right? And that begins to have a trickle down effect. You have other countries, as we previously mentioned, who are looking like, you know what? We got a neighboring country who produces oil, right? We're gonna invest our dollars there to get it to standards, and then we'll just purchase our oil directly from them. So everything stays on
Right.
in their countries and on the continent, and then the single currency, all of this stuff. So Africa is definitely moving in a particular direction, but in this instance, they're taking control. They're in the
Of
forefront of it.
which they should be.
Exactly.
America is bullies. And they don't just freely give you their support and their dollars. They want to give you the money so that they can control how you handle your people. Let me give you this money, so, but you have to release your policies on this and change your policies on that, or we're not going to give you this aid. And we're gonna do a video on that later on. But we're seeing, especially here in Africa, these presidents are like, we don't need your aid no more. We're tired of you
Man,
trying to control how we deal with our people, our human rights issue, when you guys have so many violations against
human
God's
rights.
order, period. And then and human rights, and you're killing your people, and you're not even the people was the last thing on your minds, but you want to control how we handle our countries. So we're cutting ties with you guys. We're cutting ties with your financial, with your U.S. dollar, period. And no, you will not have leverage over here. And hey, we're all for it. I've never understood, even as a child, why America has so much to say about how other people deal with their countries. And we're going to war here because we don't like how they're handling it. It's not your business. When you have thousands and thousands of homeless per city that you do nothing for, why are you in somebody else's country trying to fight for humanity over there? And they don't have homeless. They don't have the human rights issues that we have in the States, but you're constantly trying to dictate how they are supposed to run their country.
It appears as though the rest of the world is awakening, right?
They woke.
You know, they're awakening and they're coming to, and I'm not saying that they did not before, but coming to the realization or acting on the realization that, you know what, we got this. We can do this, right? We can make this happen for ourselves. So we're here. And so, you know, this now begins to shape what our experience here will be, right? It will, you know, dictate, you know, how our experience here will be. It provides clarity, however, because, you know, there are times we're like, okay, not me, not her. But there are times I'm like, you know what, maybe I need to go dip back in just to kind of, you know, show my face back over there and, you know, spend a little, but this brings a level of clarity, you know, to us that, you know what, I think that, you know, we paid attention. And I think that we, you know, were obedient and are making the decision that we made in coming here. And so there's, you know, we're a little light right now, right? Feel a little light, you know, but nonetheless, we are still a bit concerned. So, not concerned out of fear, but just not knowing.
The unknown is always scary.
Yeah. So this is something we wanted just to share with you again of our, you know, potential experience. You know, this is not something that we are experiencing right immediately, but it's moving into a direction that our experience will be a little different. You know, and
In that one of our videos, the diasporan community stretches Taiwan, Germany, Switzerland, Canada, Jamaica. They're in the Caribbeans. So we see that everyone. It's not just us. All the people out there that comes from, that has, you know, comes that live, that are diasporans.
right,
Okay, we're trying to figure it out. We're trying to figure out, how does this affect us? Because even though we're here, we're still connected to that blue passport. We can't get away from that.
right.
You know, so we're still, at any moment,
Any moment.
we're connected to that blue passport.
Right.
You know, so if it gets to a point where we don't want y'all, we don't want your dollars or your people, then what? We just don't know
Yeah.
how this affects us. I know here in Africa, we're welcome, you know, but I don't feel that Africa is for every black person. It's for everybody. Or we could say, hey, Rwanda's not for everybody. But there's 54 other countries,
Right.
53 other countries here on the continent that you can choose from.
Right.
But I might want to be in in a Spanish speaking country. I like the. I want to be a part of that.
She want to be a
I've been practicing my Spanish for a
flamenco
long
dancer.
time. But but I do also love the piece of, man, the whole world is ours to choose from.
And I think, and just real quick, but see, that's a beautiful thing, because that comes back full circle, because that is the motive for us. That is the motivating principle for us. It's like, hey, man, we don't have to.
You don't have to take it.
We can go, and I think that if Allah would allow us to be able to do this, that we can go into trueness of our residential tourism and go to these other countries and see us. Us meaning the natives and locals and the origins that are there, or us that have also taken it upon themselves to come and explore all of what this entire planet, globe, whatever, has to provide and to offer, right? So it's a moving force, if you will, that is directing in a particular direction, right? So hopefully we can maintain our obedience and go with it. But I don't know. We just don't know. But we just wanted to be able to definitely share of our thoughts and our feelings.
And let us know, what thoughts are going through your mind. We do know that Western media isn't really showing what's going on in the world with this falling of the dollar. And I know they don't want to cause hysteria. They don't want to cause any riots because, America's known for the riots, the looting.
It's like, what? I'm not going, what?
Yeah,
my Social Security, what?
Yeah, man.
my 401k, wait, what?
Yeah, they're not going to talk about it like the rest of the world is talking about it. But it affects really one people. And those are the people that is not talking about it. So if you're following us, if you're a subscriber, this definitely must be a concern for you. You've heard about it. You're trying to learn about it. I'm learning so much from you guys in the comments,
please.
Because we don't know, because we don't get that information.
Right.
We still have a lot. We're still following CNN and Fox News as well. We do have access to other news outlets now, but of course we're still going to try to relate to what what we have in the States. So you guys, with that information and you have that knowledge, please share it. Share it on our channel in the comments, because everybody reads it. And we would really like to have a greater insight on the future of the US dollar.
Get that black star line back up.
What's that?
Oh gosh.
He's old now. I don't know. He's a whole generation ahead of me. I don't know.
Y'all know the black star line, right? Marcus Garvey. All right.
God.
Back to Africa. Come on, go ahead and crank it up so we can get on, get everybody on board. Come on over this way if necessary.
Look, well, don't come to Rhonda. Rhonda ain't big enough for our. Rhonda's like the new, like the old Atlanta, and everybody was like, "Come to Atlanta."
Yeah, yo.
And now everybody like, "Don't come to Atlanta. We have no more room." Rhonda still has a room, but we gotta put a stop to it at a certain point.
Oh, that's funny. But anyway,
we gotta fix this traffic situation.
Yeah, we gotta fix that. It's gonna come anyway. So family, that's where we are with it, and but there's hope, and there's hope, and we believe that. We do believe that, and we just keep on pushing, and
just one thing I always say: you make the opportunity for you. Don't wait until something happens to you.
Come on now.
Make that choice. Don't try to come out of it like, oh no, now this happened. What do we do?
Be proactive.
Be proactive.
Y'all see the handwriting on the wall. Read it.
Read it.
Read that handwriting, and whatever it is. If we're gonna stay, let's do this. Let's get together. Let's put our dollars together. Let's pool our resources. Let's build for us as much as we can, however we can. But if we're gonna leave, okay, let's make it where we're not leaving behind. We're making a way for someone else. All of these things that we've learned about and we've experienced in past, Harriet Tubman, Marcus Garvey, man, look, it wasn't just for them. They was making a way. They was trying to make a way. So
and dropping the seed
that
we can go back home
And
you
but
went to.
it was and making the way may not necessarily mean that you actually physically leave. Making the way could be, you know what, we connected. You have a connection. Man, it made me think like the most honorable Elijah Muhammad in the old Muhammad Speaks, where he had the black man from this side of Africa reaching over to the other side of the black man over on your side there in the western hemisphere, over the globe, connected. That's it. That's the solution. That's the answer right there. We got to connect.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Anyway, family, listen, please subscribe. Please, like and share if you feel that it is shareable. Please comment. Again, as my wife was saying, we really look and read the comments. We really look at them. We read them. We benefit
Every
from them.
comment.
Yeah, benefit
Even
from
on that
them.
last one, that was a whole morning's job, but
Yeah.
every comment.
So we are grateful for your viewership and your subscription, and we're hoping that we can gain more of it. And for those, this is something I'm learning for myself because I follow other YouTubers and get information, and I have to remember to put on a notification. Turn your notification on so when we drop something, boom, it's right there. Like if Jay-Z dropped that new that new CD, you gonna know, right? Anyway, just a little levity. Thank you so much. We greatly appreciate your tuning in and allowing us to share, our thoughts with you, our experience, and we'll have some more, God willing, to bring your way of Africa, and we're excited about that. And yeah, all right. Peace and
Wait.
blessings.
Oh.